Honorable Minister of State, AMSEC and directors, and the team that supported me from the ministry. Thank you so much. This is a wonderful total, which I will treasure. I don't know what's in it, but I'll treasure it. And I want to thank you for receiving me so warmly. I feel so much at home. Thank you. Agreements in the world. And it offers unique opportunities, a market of 1.3 billion people. And so we have to think of how are we going to make this work for the continent. And what we'll be trying to do from the WTO is to see how we can support countries on the continent to strengthen their ability to trade with each other. First, we start with the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement itself. We're already working with them. WTO is already supporting them with some of the tech capacity building, and we will continue and strengthen that so that they can ably manage the trade issues on the continent. Secondly, we want to support countries. You know, we have an investment facilitation with the International Finance Corporation and other organizations to see how we can attract more investment on the continent. More value added. We are still exporting commodities, almost every African country. And the issue is how we can add value, because when you export raw materials, you export jobs. So we want to support them to add value to products, including pharmaceutical products, for instance. We are importing almost 90% of our pharmaceutical products on the continent, and we can manufacture more for ourselves. So that's the key, how we will support the continent to add more value, then trade with each other more, and then trade with the outside more. Now, Africa's share of external trade is about 3% and has been stagnant for some time. So we have to push to increase that. That's what will increase incomes, living standards, and jobs. Thank you. Thank you from NTA. That's another very good question. You know, as I always say, our young people are our future, and I'm, you know, quite proud of what they're doing. Nigerian youth are very active in the IT sector, in technology. Many of them have been developing apps. We have an investment in a fintech, Flutterway, that has, you know, now it's being valued at almost $1 billion, being done by a young Nigerian or Nigerians. And so we want to encourage them to look at the possibilities in technology and e-commerce. E-commerce technology provides a very good platform on which they can do so many things. You know, financial services, for instance, as I mentioned, fintech services. They can do sell products, goods and services on the internet. So that's one of the areas the WTO is actually trying to make rules. We have an e-commerce negotiations going on, because this has now become a very big part of trade. Before it was physical, trade in physical goods and services. And now we have an electronics platform. If you have access to the internet, you can sell your goods and products. So I want to encourage young people. You know, on the continent, 43% of Africa's youth have access to the internet compared to 15% of the overall population. So that means our young people are really active. At WTO, we want to encourage them. We want to train them to get quality products, because it's not good enough to produce. It must be quality that can access the markets of other countries. So that's what we are aiming for. I want to encourage all the youth. We'll be trying to see how we can support you through various platforms we have and various capacity building. And also with finance. You know, trade finance is another thing. You know, many of these youth will need access to finance to be able to trade. So this is another aspect to look into with other organizations, such as the World Bank and the IFC. Thank you.
Yes. You can't stand in front of me. You can't stand in front of me. You move to the side. You move to the side.
What are you? What are you looking to? Yes,